My wife texted me while I was in a meeting. I'm moving out again. This time it's permanent. Don't call me. I replied with one word. Okay. She expected me to beg. When she came back 6 hours later and saw all her belongings packed, labeled, and stacked neatly by the door, along with a locksmith receipt, she realized I wasn't playing anymore. I'm a 36-year-old man. I received that message at exactly 2:14 p.m. on a Wednesday, right in the middle of presenting quarterly budget numbers to my entire department. My phone vibrated on the conference table. I glanced down. It was her. I stared at the message for a few seconds while someone asked me about forecasted expenses. Then I typed, "Okay," placed the phone face down, and continued the presentation like nothing had happened. Here's the thing. This wasn't new. It wasn't even rare. In our 7 years of marriage, my wife had left me permanently more than a dozen times. The routine never changed. A minor disagreement, me staying late at work, me not reacting enthusiastically to one of her mother's ideas, would explode into a full-blown crisis. She'd announce she was done, grab an overnight bag, slam the door, and disappear to her sister's or mother's place. Then came the silence. She'd wait for me to chase her. Calls, apologies, flowers, promises, and every time I did exactly that. Because I loved her. Because I believed marriage meant endurance. Because her family insisted I wasn't trying hard enough. This time, something snapped. Maybe it was the timing. She knew I had that presentation. Maybe it was the word again, casually acknowledging that this was a tactic. Or maybe I was just exhausted from being emotionally blackmailed. The meeting ended at 3:30. I told my boss I had a family emergency. He nodded. No questions. I drove home. The apartment was empty, just like I expected. She'd taken her overnight bag. The expensive one I bought her for our anniversary trip that never happened because she wasn't feeling it that weekend. I stood there and made a decision. If she wanted permanent, I'd make it permanent. I called a locksmith. Emergency service. 2-hour arrival. $275 rush fee. Worth every cent. Then I started packing. Not my things, hers. Closet first. Her clothes folded carefully into suitcases. Shoes into labeled trash bags. Jewelry boxed separately. Bathroom next. Makeup, skincare, hair products, towels, robe. Bedroom, books, chargers. She had 4. Laptop. Living room, decorative pillows I was never allowed to touch. Kitchen last. Her special coffee machine I wasn't allowed to use. Her supplements. Her oat milk. I was calm, focused. Every item felt like removing weight from my chest. The locksmith arrived at 5:45. New deadbolt, new knob, new keys. I left the receipt right on top of the boxes. By 6:30, everything she owned was stacked by the door. 14 boxes, 3 suitcases, 4 bags of shoes, her yoga mat leaning against the wall. I ordered Thai food, sat on my couch, the one I picked but she hated. Watched an action movie she always called immature. My phone stayed silent. That was intentional. She was waiting for me to break. At 8:47 p.m., keys scratched at the lock. Confusion. Knocking. "Babe? The door won't open." I opened it. She stood there, overnight bag in hand, irritation turning into disbelief as she saw the boxes. "What is this?" "Your things. You said it was permanent." She panicked, tried to explain, said she was emotional, said I always came after her. "No," I told her. "That's how it used to work." She accused me of planning it. I reminded her she sent the text. She cried, apologized, promised counseling, promised change. I reminded her of every incident, every threat, every meltdown. She left with 2 suitcases, slept better than I had in months. The fallout came fast. Her sister showed up at my door, called me heartless, said a real man would fight. I told her I was done fighting alone. Then the family texts, insults, threats. I blocked them. Her mother showed up at my workplace. Security escorted her out. Then a fake legal threat from a concerned attorney. My friend, an actual divorce lawyer, laughed and helped me respond properly. Then she came back with backup. Mother, sister, intimidating cousin. I let them collect the boxes. Didn't engage. One box was accidentally dropped. I said nothing. They told me I'd die alone. That's kind of the point, I said. Then came divorce filings. She claimed abuse, financial control, career sacrifice, wanted half my retirement. Most of it was nonsense. Mediation shut it down. She got a small portion of my 401k, brief support, some furniture. Afterward, she kept violating the no-contact order. Drunk texts, staring at me in public, fake pregnancy claims, documented, shut down. Now, months later, the silence is real. The apartment feels different, quieter, cleaner, peaceful. I'm in therapy, not because I'm broken, but because I tolerated things I shouldn't have. No dating, no ruse. The money loss hurts. Legal fees hurt. But the peace is worth everything. I regret only one thing: not saying okay sooner. Sometimes, when someone threatens to leave for the 100th time, the healthiest thing you can do is open the door and let them.